My mind is tuned like a gun assault. I train it every day. Focus sharp as a blade. Heart in balance, never sways. Body moving heavy, spirit rising light and bold. Forgiveness in the pocket, worth more than gold. Fit mind, fit body, fit spirit. We ride, walking in God's living room for healing. Open eyes, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I stand tall, grace in my lungs, power on my tongue. I conquer all. I pace the floor down, I spread the face right on. Quietness breaks the choke, cold fear gets me drawn. Every step a sermon, every breath a prayer. In a simple love, endurance, I'm built to repair. Bit mind, bit body, bit spirit. We ride, walking in God's living room for healing. Open eyes, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I stand tall, grace in my lungs, power on my tongue, I conquer all.
Hey everybody, it's Kyonna F. Brown, your forgiveness expert, premier pet care specialist, and communicator of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you are tuning in to the second episode of Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body. I am here with my fit sisters, and we just did 5.17 miles. And we had an amazing time in God's living room. And on this particular podcast, we are talking about exiting left, exiting stage left, how to exit a season. And we had some phenomenal conversation. But before we get into it, just let our listeners and viewers know who you are.
Okay, I am Kiki. I've been on this fitness journey since 2016, and I am super excited about this journey and what you plan to bring, Kyonna.
I am Larissa, and I am a fit sister of Kiki and Kyonna. Been on a fitness journey, to be honest, since I was a teenager. So there may have been some ups and downs, but for the most part, since I was a teenager. So
Yeah, and these are two women who have been very instrumental and very key, I would say, to encouragement on this fitness journey for me. And so as we're talking about exiting stage left, how to exit a season, there were a couple of scriptures that popped in my mind. No, this is not a Bible podcast. This is a podcast about having a fit mind, a fit spirit, and a fit body. But however, if you know me, you know that God is in everything that I do. So how dare I not bring him into this conversation? And so the first scripture that I want to read for us is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under the heaven." And then if we look at Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." And so if there is a season for everything, and in everything he's making everything beautiful, why discredit anything that you have met through the challenges? A very quick story. The other day I had on some shoes, and now y'all know I like tennis shoes. I be having on almost every time we work out a different pair of shoes, right? Because that's my jam. And I got some dirt on my shoes, right? And so in that, I was like, oh my God, my shoes are dirty. What am I going to do? Like, I freak out about the smallest things like that. But then God quickly reminded me that that only means that you have traveled some roads. And in traveling some roads, you're going to pick up some dirt. But the amazing part about it is that God will cleanse you new. And so as we're going through these journeys and learning how to exit left, we're going to go into those different places. And also what I thought about is when we have to exit, or the things in life, how there is a season, there's a time for the seed to be produced, there's a time for us to sow the seed, there's a time for the harvest, and then there's a time for us to pull up. And in all of those four things that I just named, they're going to be revolving around relationships, work, and environment. So Kiki, I want you to share, what has been maybe a quick story of you having to exit stage left. dealing with either the relationship, dealing with either work or any type of environment that you've been in?
That's a good question. So, right now in this season, my son moved out and got married. So, I have been living with someone my entire life. So, now I'm in this season of being alone, living alone and being by myself and figuring out who I am and my identity. So, going through that, I'm learning that, just my mind, the battle of the mind. Now I have more time to battle the mind and literally put forth the intention to do better and to be better for myself because I'm spending more time with myself. I don't have to worry about anybody and what they need to eat, what they need to do, or where they need to go versus just really being with myself. So that's where I am right now in my journey. So, yeah, literally exiting stage left and changing the trajectory of what my wants and needs are.
Wow, that's like a whole 360 shift and change, going from what is to what is now, and how you like deal with that. And one of the things we were talking about, y'all on this hike, we
Oh
giving just
yeah.
little bits and just sharing little things, but we had like some phenomenal conversation. And for me, just the whole change and shift of my schedule, exiting a quiet season, now going to a season of volume where I am learning how to maneuver, how to do different things, where I was just in a quiet space. I was talking to my mom the other day, and I said, how was I just like so still? And now it's like, when am I had time to do this? When am I had time to do that? And so it's just crazy that we're exiting different seasons, but yours
Yes.
was one full of things and
Yeah.
mine was full of quiet. What about you, Rissa?
Mine, when you use that term, exiting stage left, and we kind of had the conversation on the trail, is exiting that mental hold. And what I mean by that is whatever is blocking me in terms of trying to push forward. I use this term with a girlfriend of mine. I said, sometimes I feel like I'm just existing and not necessarily moving forward in terms of certain goals, things for everybody else, but not necessarily moving forward in terms of whatever goals that I have for myself, and feeling like you're a prisoner mentally in that space. So trying to find that balance to kind of still do for others, but put myself first to be able to say, okay, I've accomplished this, and not just keep saying what I'm going to do. So trying to get past that mental block, whatever it is I'm feeling defeated in or just can't push to the next level. We talked about just being present. I said, okay, I done moved past that. I conditioned myself to just show up. So now how do I get past I've reached whatever this milestone I have, as opposed to just saying, this is a goal, and then it becomes 1, 2, or 3 or 4 years. And I'm still sitting there like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Whew. So let's talk about, how does your mind, your spirit, and your body tell you when it's time
Oh, that's a good one.
to exit, right? Because we can know that we need to do these things, but our mind and our spirit and our body will like kind of do this thing where it's trying to shift us and make us move. Like for me, it would potentially be feeling uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that will be for me. What about you?
Same, being uncomfortable because I'm so used to being in a still comfortable space. And just to know, like I told y'all on the journey, I battle this mind every day. So the isolation allows me to focus to get into that uncomfortable space so that I can push for an exit stage left, literally each and every day. It's just not, okay, last month this. No, it's each and every day that I have to put forth the effort and be intentional about exiting and being comfortable in that new space. Like with me being isolated now that my son has moved out and having that space for myself.
Yeah, I want to share this because as we're talking about this, I thought about a relationship that God had placed me in at a pivotal moment, a season where I needed that relationship. And not to say, because I felt like, God, did I use this person? Or, and it's like we got into a space where we were kind of separating from one another, but then it's like that person has been so much to you in the season. It's like you kind of feel guilty about not reaching out, and then at times it's like you feel the wedge coming in, and it's like it's no love lost, but then I had to remind myself that, Kyonna, maybe you made, or you try to make more from this than what it was supposed to be.
That part.
And so learning how to realize when a relationship is over, not because y'all don't like each other, not because of any of that, and you got to learn how to exit gracefully, without causing any unnecessary disruptance, like without trying to trying not to have any animosity, or trying not to feel certain ways about it, but just like have you all?
Yes. And for example, like we were talking about surrounding yourself with people who can pour in, and the environment that you're in. Speaking of relationships, if it's not beneficial and we just start doing like this, or I'm starting to think about certain things that are triggering, I know I got to separate, because I got to fill my cup in a certain way.
Yeah.
So those are signs, just to go back to your question, that I see sometimes when I know that separation with friendships or relationships, that it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on what you just said, when it starts chipping at you mentally, and sometimes that creeps up on you when it gets to a breaking point. But we see those signs happen, or they're there. It's like God is kind of like giving you you asking like,
Yes.
what's happening, what's going on, and He's telling you. But we're like, maybe not. We're trying to deny.
This is my friend. Like, we've been through this.
But when you see it's affecting you, you're second guessing yourself, or it's affecting you emotionally, affecting you mentally, and sometimes all of that will then affect you physically.
Yes.
And so those are the signs. And when you see that impact, that's when you need to say, I need to pivot and do something different.
Now, here's the last question. So how long has it taken for you to leave and heal in some of these situations?
I'm still on that journey. And I'm being honest, Kyonna. Still on that journey. Still trying to figure that out. Because there are certain relationships that I'm in now that I know God probably was like, girl, what are you doing? But for whatever reason, I feel that I still need, to hold on. No love lost or no shots fired. But I know that in order for me to evolve, some people just got to be left behind. So trying to face that could cause a little bit of conflict. But I have to be, I'm still going through that.
I don't even know if this is good or not. I was actually talking to my husband and a friend of mine about, and I said, this is probably a coping mechanism. So it's not always good. So I'm saying this, but it's not good. It's probably, it probably depends on when how you do it. But sometimes I'm kind of good with that. But in terms of just blocking out, and that the coping mechanism is seeing that these are the rays or the darts or whatever you want to call it that's trying to infiltrate my peace.
Yes.
So immediately the barriers go up as a coping mechanism that those things aren't there. However, the work doesn't stop there. You still have to process whatever was occurring and how it's affecting you. So being able to identify whatever is going on, to say, we had that conversation. You were like, wait a minute, was this intentional?
Yes.
Do they know what they were doing? Do I need to have that conversation? Then how do I need to move forward with that? If it's a conversation even needed, So with me, sometimes I just kind of throw up the little square box, compartmentalize, and I'm just like, okay, I do not see these things are affecting me in this way. It could be fear, and it's something that should be affecting me to ignite a change, or it could be the signs of saying, yeah, this is not good for you. But you still needing to process that information, because sometimes, again, like you just said, Kiki, when we on the trail, sometimes it's not till a year or 2 years later you're realizing why something is affecting you, and you're still in similar situations, and you're like, which mean we haven't resolved or processed and changed some behaviors or whatever. So it's a back and forth struggle.
Yeah. What about you?
Girl, look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm with you. I'm on that same struggle bus with you, because there are, some places where I might have left physically, but mentally,
Yes,
That's what I mean by
that's the
processing.
part.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by processing.
I'm
So
still
you threw
there.
up that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you was still mentally
And then
dealing with
some
that.
places I'm still there physically, and it's like, it's like a workout almost, like to
Yeah.
even endure in that relationship. But then sometimes you gotta work. You gotta work at it. You gotta do. They hunting out here,
They
y'all. They are
are.
really.
As long as they not
Y'all, we tried. We hoping that we are not prey out
He
here.
has on the yellow hat, so we need
know.
something brighter.
Oh God. But yeah, so I'm still dealing with that. But y'all, we gonna wrap this up because it's just short. We did most of our talking and our communicating in the woods in God's living room, and we just thank you all for tuning into this short little podcast that I have, that God has placed in my spirit, to just get out there and share and to be in God's living room and enjoy everything that He has. We done got lost.
Yes.
We done had great conversation. Another Bronco is pulling up, because it's Bronco Nation out here. But yeah, so we gonna wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body. I'm Kyonna F. Brown, and I've had my lovely guests here, Kiki and Rissa. And you don't see him behind the camera. That's our cameraman, Jeremiah. He's been operating the drone. He's been doing amazing things. Oh, you gonna pop? Well, he gonna pop in, y'all.
Okay, all right.
There you go. He popped in for you real quick. But yeah, remember you all that we are going out here and we are going to live it, do it, and be it. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time with Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body.
Fit mind, fit heart, fit body, rise. Oh, we climb these hills under open skies. Oh, growth in every heartbeat, steady and slow. Turn the